Hello everyone and welcome back to Respawn. Today I wanted to talk about what I've been playing lately. There hasn't been many games releasing lately that have piqued my interest, so I decided to take up a title from a few years ago that I never really gave a fair chance. I also picked up two games on sale that released within the last few years, and I've had my eyes on them for a while. All I gotta say is that they all have left me pleasantly surprised. That coming up right here on Respawn. Well, first up, I want to talk about a game that I probably played for about 3 to 4 hours when it first came out back in 2017. That's Assassin's Creed Origins. The last few weeks, I've been digging into this game, and I've now sunk about 25 plus hours into it, and it's definitely made its way into my top 3 Assassin's Creed games ever of all time. AC Origins was the first of the 3 rebooted style of Assassin's Creed games that does the open world RPG style now. And I think Origins does that open world RPG style much better than its predecessors Odyssey and Valhalla. I do want to talk about those two games, but only after I get through why I've been loving Origins so much. And the reason why I dislike Odyssey and Valhalla goes hand in hand with why I love Origins so much. After playing Odyssey and Valhalla, I went back to Origins, and it makes me appreciate it much, much more. Firstly, open world Egypt that Ubisoft has created is just stunning, diverse, and unique to anything else that the series has seen at the time of its release. The lighting, textures, barren deserts, and lush landscapes keep every corner of the map interesting to me as a player and keeps me engaged. I haven't even begun to discover parts of the map because it's recommended that you reach a higher player level before entering those zones, but they are completely open to the player from the start of the game. So yes, the world itself is very impressive, especially considering that they recreated an entire country on a smaller scale. It's impressive before I've even started talking about the tombs, caves, ruins, and temples that have been painstakingly recreated from their real-life counterparts. There's so many different things to talk about when it comes to why this game is impressive. We even have things like the Great Pyramids of Giza, and they get their own little exploration quests attached to them. There's a ton of content here to keep you exploring, and it does exploration better than any Assassin's Creed title I've ever played. I think this game takes the best approach to the new RPG style because of how grounded the combat system is and loot system is. The newer titles, especially Valhalla, kind of fumbled these aspects. Now, Valhalla fundamentally tells you where to find new weapons and equipment. Not in Origins, though, but your map is mostly made up of question marks and exclamation marks telling you what side quests you haven't discovered and where there are side quests for you to play. And the open world is laid out like this so that when you do these, there's a chance that you will get some loot or coin after completion, but it doesn't guarantee that you'll get loot from doing these, so it encourages you to take on these quests. Because Origins encourages you to tackle these side quests like this, it made me think about Valhalla. And in Valhalla, you're left with, instead of question marks and exclamation marks, little icons telling you where loot is. And when I was playing Valhalla, this ultimately ended up with me putting a marker on where the loot is and going from point A to point B, from point A to point B, from point A to point B, looking for new loot, just getting better loot. And I wasn't exploring, I was just searching for loot. Origins makes this much more organic, and it does it the correct way, in my opinion. You are rewarded for exploration. The combat here is a little more advanced than in previous Assassin's Creed titles, but it's still fairly simple. You can lock on to enemies, pick and choose who to focus on, like other games in this genre. You have a dodge, parry, light and heavy attacks, and somewhat of a finisher attack that will charge up when you've charged up your adrenaline meter. If it was any more complicated or challenging, I think it would take away from the other great aspects of the game, because we have to remember this is an Assassin's Creed title, and if we focus too much on crazy, in-depth, challenging combat, it will take away from it being an Assassin's Creed title. For example, the stealth here, it works great, it's simple, it's fun, and it's easy to use, and that's what I'm looking for in these games. Using your eagle sinew to tag enemies makes planning out an approach to an enemy camp much more easier and fun to tackle for the player. It makes you feel a lot more stealthy and planned out, and it makes these, looting enemy camps much more believable and fun. You're not just running in there. It's a lot more calculated, being able to use this eagle as a companion to tackle these parts of the game. Now, the story lately in the past decade or so hasn't really been the strong suit in Assassin's Creed. For one, the last Assassin's Creed story that I really enjoyed was Assassin's Creed 3, because, there was aspects of family in there, and the protagonist was, on a path of discovering who they were as a character. And I gotta say, the story here, it's not the stress, probably the weakest point of this game. It's not necessarily bad. It has its highs and lows, and there's a lot that I'd want to change about the story in this game. But I do like the protagonist Bayek and his wife Aya. They are both likable characters, and Bayek's motivation is enough for me to believe what's going on here, so that gets a pass from me. Something important in Assassin's Creed for me is wanting to believe that the character wants to become an assassin, and I get that here, so it's enough for me. Overall, if you have an itch for some Assassin's Creed and haven't played this one, yes, absolutely give it a chance. If you have a next-gen console, double yes. You could love it, or you straight up just might not enjoy this newer approach to the series. But if you want to kind of dip your toes in and see where Assassin's Creed is at lately, and you want to check out this new RPG style of Assassin's Creed, do yourself a favor and play Origins. I'd tell you to straight up pass on Odyssey and Valhalla, because I think Origins does all these things that I've been speaking about very well, and Valhalla and Odyssey kind of start to forget that. Now, the other two games that I was talking about that I've been playing over the past few months are also Ubisoft titles, and they've left me shocked, surprised, speechless, because, Ubisoft has been putting out games that have left me very not impressed lately. But these games kind of had me interested, so when they were on sale, I decided I'd scoop them up. I'm like, hey, I'm not playing anything right now, so I'd like to finally get around to playing these games. These two games are Riders Republic and Immortals Phoenix Rising. And these two games are some of the most fun I've had gaming in a long time, and I recommend these titles to anyone who wants a laid-back single-player title where they don't have to feel any competitive pressure. Riders Republic is an extreme sports open world title where you can cruise down mountains at insane speeds on ATVs, bikes, skis, snowboards. There's also air options with wingsuits and jetpacks and paragliding also. It's just an extreme sports game that kind of has a bit of a goofy undertone to it. There's just a lot to enjoy here with lots of customization. Also, there is some kind of aspect of a store and microtransaction worked into the outfits, and if you want some extra rides also, but it's completely avoidable from what I've experienced so far. So if you keep your head down, it won't really be a problem. This scratches that Tony Hawk, Shaun White itch that from the older days of gaming. So if you were interested in something that's not a first-person shooter, that's not like a third-person open-world game, I would play Riders Republic. It's just something you can bike around on or ski around on that I've been really happy with lately, and I'm glad that I picked it up finally. And we also have Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a new IP from Ubisoft that's fun, lighthearted, and filled with satisfying gameplay. Earlier, I was talking about Assassin's Creed Origins, and a lot of great aspects from that game ended up in this one, and along with other great aspects from Zelda Breath of the Wild have ended up in this game as well. And it's done very well. This game was overlooked when it was released, but I've just been waiting for a sale to pick it up, and I've been enjoying it this summer. It's just a different approach from everything else that's on the market now, and there's no pressure here. It's really low key. There's no online service or competition. It's exactly what I'm looking for these days. It's just fun. The game works. The world and character design is fun. The combat and the puzzle mechanics are satisfying too. There's a lot of great stuff here. Don't expect some extreme high budget AAA extravaganza, but it is something that I like to kick back and play. And on a rainy day, it's something that's different from the rest of the games I've been playing. I just wanted to put these two games on your radar. Let's say 3 games, Assassin's Creed Origins also. They're just all really impressive, and I hope Ubisoft keeps putting out more titles like these in the future. That would make me a happy customer. Keep these games on your list and grab them when they're on sale. There's no reason to pay full price for any of these games because they're all on sale, on that sale rotation very often, because they've been out for the last 2+ years. So whenever we get a spring sale, a summer sale, a winter sale, a fall sale, whenever we get these big sales, they'll all be on sale for this. So that's when you should pick them up. That's really it, guys. I just wanted to talk with you guys about what I've been enjoying lately, and maybe you'll enjoy some of them too. I'll see you guys next time on Respawn. If you enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, drop a like and a comment and hit the bell notification so you don't miss an episode. Thanks, guys, and happy gaming.